Morning, everyone. Obviously, don't know what time of day it is. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Keys to Your New Door. This is a brand new class that we're doing that we want to be able to help folks that are just now getting their housing, that are just now going into employment, just now learning how to advocate for themselves. All those things. We want to be able to give information and talk back and forth so we know what's important, right? The information out there. I'm going to let my friends introduce themselves.
All right. Well, hello, everybody. Thank you guys for joining us. My name is Cedric Coit. Of course, I am an employee here at Promise Resource Network. And we have the pleasure today of having a special guest, I'll let him introduce himself. And his name is Mr. Clarence. And he'll introduce himself. And today we're just going to really kind of kick back and have some conversation about, the experiences of getting the keys to your new door. Miss Sharon mentioned things about employment as well. So we're just going to really have that conversation. But I'm just excited to have you here today, Mr. Clarence, to be able to talk about it and share your experience when you first got your keys to your door. So you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Clarence Thomas. And I was very, very, very happy when I got my keys to actually, I was more excited when I got accepted than my keys because I wasn't, I didn't know how to go about it until some people had talked to me, and it was very hard for me to go and seek the help, but I did go seek the help. And being that I went and seek the help, that's when I got to get keys to my own place. And I tell you, I cried when I got the keys in my hand. It was a very joyous occasion for me, being homeless all the time that I was. And you can do the same too, but you have to be willing to do the footwork to get it. If you ain't willing to do the footwork, then you're gonna stay where you at. You're gonna be where you at. I mean, at the time I was ashamed of how I was living, and that's what really stopped me from, trying to do better for myself, because I was ashamed of myself. And I know a lot of people out there ashamed of what they're doing and what they're going through. But you gotta swallow that pride and say, hey, I can do better. I can go on. I don't have to be here. I can be in there. And their ministry, they really helped me get to where I am now. I'm finally starting to see some light in my disability, which I wasn't doing none of that when I was on the street. But all you got to do is just say that I'm tired of being on these streets. When you're tired of being on them streets, their ministry is, and they got other places too. But I went to their ministry, and they really looked out for me.
And Mr. Clarence, what did you learn about yourself? Because I remember you and I having dialogue about that day going from being on the streets, receiving that call to saying, hey, you've been approved for this program, and then to getting that, receiving your key to your home. What was that experience like for you?
That was one of the happiest feelings I had. It was just, it was like saying there was hope.
There was hope.
there was hope. And I really truly thank God to where it it just felt amazing.
Right, right. Miss Sharon, did you hear that?
I didn't hear the last part.
He said it felt amazing. He's very
Ah,
thankful. I asked him about, what did you learn about or what did you feel when you went from the experience of being out on the streets to receiving that call from the program that you were approved for, in addition to getting that key that first day. We're going back and kind of reliving those feelings and those emotions and just really, talking about that. And I can tell that that means a lot. That meant a lot to Mr. Clarence. And, that means a lot. I can share that because when we actually working alongside with the folks that we work with, and supporting people through Tennessee Support and Housing Needs, it's a beautiful feeling, Miss Sharon, when folks are getting their keys to their place. Like that, it's like everything lights up, just as how beautiful it is outside. And so anything that you learned specifically that you had to relearn about yourself going from living outside to living into a home, did you have to learn how to do certain things or advocate? If I gotta speak up.
Yeah, I did. I had to learn to trust myself again to the point to where I had to relearn how to live. I had to relearn how to live in a place, considering that I was out so long. I was out there for a very long time. And when I got into my place, it really literally took me a whole year to realize that, it was mine. It was somewhere I could come home to every night. It took me a whole year to do that because of the simple fact that I was out for so long. And you wake up sometimes and you wake up and you literally don't know where you are because you're so used to being out on the street. So it took me a whole year to realize that it was mine, and it's mine until they take it away from me. But at this time, it's mine. So it did. I mean, I had to learn how to live again. I really had to learn how to live again inside. I had to learn how to cope with neighbors, and I had to learn how to cope with neighbors. I had to learn how to cope with getting my mail. I had to learn how to cope with paying bills because there's certain things that they don't pay, so I have to pay it myself. So I had to learn how to do all of that. I had to learn a lot. I had to learn a lot because you forget being on the street. You do forget because being on the street, you carefree. You ain't got to worry about nothing. You know, waking up. Well, the waking up part is not as important because when you're on the street, if you certain areas, you got to get up very early. Than if you're in a place where not too many people are bothering you, you can get up a little later. But I really had to learn. I had to learn how to live again. I had to learn how to live again. And at times it was hard. At times it was hard because you trying to you selling yourself. No, they're not gonna put you out. This ain't a trick. This ain't a trap or nothing like that. Because that's the thing that you're thinking about. You're thinking streetwise instead of thinking realistic. So you still thinking streetwise while you're in this place. Well, even when they give you your keys, you're very happy. You're very humble. But once you get them keys, you're very happy. But then your street comes back into your head. oh man, this is the trap. This is that, this and that. And it hasn't been nothing like that. You know, I don't have these people coming in my house telling me, oh, you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong. I don't have to, you know, if you don't cause no trouble, you won't get no trouble. You know, I've seen a lot of my friends, not friends, but people that I know get a place and they back on the street within a year. I don't understand that. You know, I can understand that you can, like, you know, you're on the street, you got friends, you want to help them and all of that. But like I said, learn. I had to learn that I can't help everyone. I got to help me first. And if that's meaning that I can't let you come to my house when you want to come to my house, that so be it. You know, a lot of these people get put out because they want their friends there, they have them in the houses, they doing all of this. That's unnecessary. It's unnecessary to put problems on yourself. So I try to just say to people, you know, I love you, but I can't do all that for you. You go down there, tell the people your story, and they will help you.
Miss Sharon, you know, I really thank you, Mr. Clarence, for that, because you just really touched on a lot of key points that we really want to talk about as we're moving and as we're having this class. You know, you talked about, it was so beautiful and authentic because you said, I had to learn how to live in a home again. I had to learn how to pay a bill. I had to mentally adjust to being in shelter consistently. So you think about, Miss Sharon, you know, and others that are watching, thinking about how people sleep at night, you know, or how your mindset is. I didn't even think about the anxiety that comes along with, all right, I'm off the street, but I'm in a home. And there may be some anxiety now, like, what do I do next? You know, what am I supposed to do? And that's where our role comes in at. That's where our role comes in as far as tenancy support, as far as employment needs. And it's just a beautiful thing to walk alongside and join the people that we've joined. And as they maneuver through and they get the keys to their home, but as they're settling in, because Mr. Clarence said, I don't know if you recognize, he said it took me a whole year to settle. It took him a whole year to settle mentally, physically, emotionally, to settle. And so that's the purpose of this particular class, Keys to My New Door. There's some things we want to talk about, like what are the barriers? What are your needs? You know, what accomplishments? Right. What have you learned from this process? Also, advocacy part. I love the advocacy part because, you know, you go in and advocate for what you need. Like whenever you talk to your landlord about something, hey, you know, I got a maintenance request, or something's not working in my home. You know, some people may not have that skill set or may be fearful of going down and having those conversations with their landlord. That's where we come in to help support. That's where we come in to help support with that process. Ms. Sharon, did you want to add anything, or you had any thoughts? Or
Clarence, I just love when you said learning to live again. You know, learning life's terms. I appreciate that, and I can't imagine everything that you had to learn in a short amount, and just adjust and do that. Like Cedric said, just adjusting mentally to having a space that you can call your own. You know, that's stuff. And I love, you said a lot of wonderful things about getting help, you know, the importance of reaching out, the importance of checking who you're with, you know, to stick with the people and help you get what you need and keep what you got. Right? Yeah. Good deal. I love it. I love it.
Exactly. And also too, you know, that support, we're going to talk about ways that, you know, as far as budgeting your money, as far as, you know, establishing a bank account. Because you remember that time, and this was a great experience, Ms. Sharon, that I remember experiencing with Mr. Clarence. You remember that time we had to get renter's insurance established? And we went through that whole process, you know, so that was a teaching moment where, you know, Mr. Clarence and I sat down and we actually explored options for renter's insurance. There are some things that, you know, now in this day and time, you got to have renter's insurance as you're renting the key, as you have the keys to your home. And so that's a requirement. Some people were not familiar with that. And so, man, isn't it helpful to have that support along the way to help you become more, you just settle and position yourself to where you can become acclimated to your new home, do all the right things that you need to do. It's just a good feeling walking through those steps as well, you know, along with Mr. Clarence and others. Any advice that you would just recommend to other people?
My advice to people when it comes to this is don't be afraid of yourself, because you're the only one stopping yourself. Get that help that you need, and I guarantee you in the long run, you'll be sitting here too telling your story.
Nice. Nice. I love it. I love it. I can only imagine how much changing an entire world is, because when you came from the street into a housing situation, I mean, just about everything changed, didn't it?
Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
Yeah. That must have been scary, not knowing what this brings. You know?
I even had to train myself to wash my butt again, because you don't get to wash your butt every day on the street. So I'd sit around for a couple of days and not wash, not thinking that there's the bathroom. You know, I mean, I really had to retrain everything. I had to retrain myself in every aspect. In the home, outside the home, and you had to say something about but now they ain't tired of seeing me no more, but they know when I come, I'm here, and they listening, and I know.
So you went from being afraid, that's beautiful, Miss Sharon. You went afraid to developing confidence. And now it's almost like it's second nature now. You know, to be able to go whenever you need something, you know where to go, you're confident, you're competent, and you go when you do it. Like that's great. But you know what?
Yeah, it is. It is.
It's something you say a lot that I didn't realize. You said you had to learn how to bake yourself. You take it from going and being out on the streets and you know, like you said, you didn't know when you bathe, and then when you're in your home, still went days where you did bathe, and you're like, oh man, I have a restroom and a shower, everything upstairs, I can go and wash. Wow. Reprogramming, a lot of reprogramming. Remember what to do. I would strongly encourage anybody, you know, as you are, if you're ever in a situation, and for folks who are working their housing needs and really trying, just like Mr. Clarence, I applaud him because he did everything that he needed to do to get to where he's at, to get the support and help that he needs. And he's maintaining that. So I urge people to be, to not stop, to take that first step. And the beautiful thing about it is we'll help you. We'll be right there with you, taking that step. Your life dream towards your new home, towards those keys to your door. So I just want to say thank you for just being authentic and sharing the true, blue, the real, everything, just sharing your story.
Clarence, how did you make your
Thank you.
space a home to go from an apartment to a home? Because those are things, to have that home space. Not only am I comfortable, but I'm safe. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's a good thing. Doing that this time, that was a concern of mine, and that was a fear of mine of not being safe. Thinking someone's gonna come through the doors, thinking somebody's gonna try to take what I have because they know I have it now. And how I faced that was, I said to myself, you're not out there no more. You can't keep thinking negative, but the more negative I'm thinking, the more downer and blue I'm gonna be. So how I made it a home was I just kept thinking positive. I just kept thinking positive. I just kept, I bring new things in the house, furniture, and it's just home.
Oh, that's awesome. Because some people, I've lived in a lot of places, but I didn't have a home of my own until I moved where I live now. Such a difference. And I can only imagine how in it to shift how you were thinking, to go from survival mode into a totally different kind of space. That takes some true courage.
It wasn't easy.
I'm sure.
It wasn't easy because I'm still fighting things. From when I was homeless, but it's not as severe as it was when I first moved in.
What helped?
Good.
What helped ease that?
Knowing that if I call someone like you or someone else that's trying to help me, that calms down because I know someone is trying to help.
Mhm.
When you don't have someone that's trying to help, when you feel as though no one wants to help you, no one wants to be bothered with you, it just brings you down, regardless if you have a place or not. As long as you know you got someone that you can call and they'll try to help you. That's the big key. Someone trying to help you.
Yeah.
Not necessarily curing what's going on, but they trying. Without that, you're lost.
Yeah.
You're lost without that.
Hope.
That's it.
Absolutely.
Give it a little hope.
Yeah. I think that's where we start, at a piece of hope. And then because of that, it fuels us, like you said, to do things differently, to help, to reach out to people that are there for you, and kind of leave folks alone. I gotta feed so I want to be around those people that are good for around, are beneficial. I get what I need when I'm around them, right? And that is a thing. Asking for help, the first part, for someone to provide hope. I think that's one of the biggest keys to start. Arlene's in the house. She says, hello, family. Hello, darling.
Hello, Arlene. Hope you're doing well. And if you guys have any thoughts or questions or comments or anything, please feel free to just chat and put it in the comment section and we'll talk. But I'm just sitting here. I'm overjoyed. I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about how important and how work that we do means so much. You know, like it's one of those things where, you know, you can't, of course, you can't do this for the money. You have to really have that compassion and that drive to want to help. But I'm telling you, it gives me chills to see people hope achieve some of the accomplishments that they're working towards. And especially when you go from being in a stressful survival mode, like you mentioned, going from survival, you know, into your home to thrive and get comfortable and get settled. And it takes time.
Yeah.
It takes time. It also takes those key individuals, like you said. So you are not feeling alone. But those individuals that are out there that you can rely on and say, hey, you know, I may need some support with this, or can you show me how to do that, or whatever, you know, people are there and present. So it's just, I'm just sitting here thinking, wow, I'm overjoyed. This empowers me to do more. This empowers me. I know that I'm in the right place.
You hope.
Gives me hope. Actually gives me hope.
Absolutely.
That's beautiful. I think we have Miss Brianna says, connection and community, your voice and story matters. It makes a big difference to have support in the journey. That's so true. And the one thing that she said that Mr. Clarence is that really stood out to me is that your voice and your story matters. Your voice and your story matters. You know, it matters to us. It matters, and it's purposeful. It has a purpose.
Yeah.
So
That year that you adjusted, you know, that you learned how to be in a whole different world, right? That really did take courage. I mean, that to step into something, to step into the unknown, and to give hope to others. Cedric's right. The story you tell, as beautifully as you tell it, can, you know, you never know how many people you're going to help get into a space, to get keys, to have that shift, you know, by your example. You know, you're the one giving hope today, you know, and hope is the fuel of recovery. We get hope and we're off and running, but you were right in the beginning. You said you got to do the footwork. You got to do the footwork. Yeah.
So as we go along, we do. Go ahead, Ms. Sharon. No, I was just saying, as we gave a list, and I wanted to kind of run down that list of things again that we want to talk about. But advocacy, we talked about hope, breeding hope, using accomplishments to breed hope, working with your support network, gratitude for the journey to your new door. Gratitude. That's a big one. Gratitude and paying it forward. I think Brianna said, celebrate that journey. I heard somewhere, no one can do it for us, but we can't do it alone. That's right.
Yeah. And we don't have to do it alone today. And that's the beautiful thing. We build community. Right? And Clarence, you're a big part of that. You're one of our leaders. You're going to, you know, be able to show the way to people that don't know. It's not a bad thing not to know. It's just you're not used to it. You don't have the knowledge, you know. So, you know, learning how to work with the landlord, learning how to best use our community supports, advocacy, finding my voice like you did, finding our voice to be able to use that to get our needs in an effective way, in a beneficial way, right? The hope of it all, the announce of we want to do some practical things like, landlord communication, those sort of things, how to open a bank account, those type of things. But what we really want to do is help whoever's out there to get what they need to be comfortable, to be comfortable in their new home, and to help them understand that it may take a minute. That survival mindset, I imagine, is really hard to break free of.
Is it?
Yes, it is, because like I stated before, I was homeless from 07 to 17, and it was easy in the beginning. It was really easy being homeless because you didn't have to worry about nothing. But the only person to worry about was the next homeless person, because they're trying to take what you have when you don't even have enough for yourself. So they're trying to take what you got, and everyone's homeless story is different. No story is the same.
Yeah, absolutely.
To be once, it hurted me really bad because I was working and the job never called me back, and then it became easy just being on the street. It got easy. And easier every day. But in a sense, it got too. I watch my back. I gotta watch this. I had like 4 or 5 bags stolen from me. Street just like I was, and that really, I could never understand that. That's something I can understand. How you stealing from someone who ain't even got less than you, but you taking this stuff from them, and that hurt it. That hurt the most because that's what made me feel, really down, because you took something that I was trying to hold on to. So I could never understand how they can just, and then you gotta go with people the homeless people that want to fight you, the homeless people that want. I mean, like I said, it's so different levels of homelessness to where you don't know who's who. You got some that'll be so nice, and you got some that'll be so horrible. So it was like you was in a whole different society.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that I had to learn. I had to learn to get back into society again.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was in a whole different society. So I had to learn to get back into normal society. And it was hard. It was really hard.
Wow. And even, Mr. Clarence, I've never thought about it like that.
A lot of
the different levels. Having to go from that society and then adjust and adapt to this society, in addition to once you get your key to adjust and adapt to that's a lot. Wow. That's courage and strength.
People don't realize being homeless it's not hard, but it ain't easy either. Because you got people against you You got people against you and you don't even know it. You know, you could be lying in your spot sleeping, and the next thing you know, you done got jumped on and you don't even know why, because they're trying to take what you got.
Yeah.
The other people don't realize homeless is not, it's not easy. It's not easy at all, because it can get hard. It can get hard and rough for no reason.
Yeah. I was just thinking, I don't know if this is true, but oh crap, I just forgot. To be able to do that shit, you know, you were fighting people out on the street, and I'm sure you had to fight some of your ideas when you first got your keys. Some of them that tripped you up on the street didn't have to trip you up, but it's a whole different world. Like you said, you have to learn all skills.
Yeah.
And apply those skills.
You got to apply them.
Yeah.
If you don't apply them, you still on the street.
Yeah.
If you don't apply the skills, you still on the street. And I don't, there's a lot of people that don't want to be on them streets.
Yeah.
And that would be happy and blessed to get themselves a place.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got the ones that don't care if they have a place or not. Those are the dangerous ones, because those are the ones that are saying, you know, I don't want to be locked in no house. I want to be out here terrorizing people and doing what I want to do. Those are the ones that sneaks into the system. When I say sneak into the system, they do good, and then when they get in the system, you see their real self.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the ones that don't keep their places for too long. Those are the ones that make it hard for the ones that don't have their keys yet.
Yeah.
Can't get their keys yet.
Yeah.
And, you know, I feel bad for the ones who wants to get help, but they got the bad ones out there that's making it kind of hard and difficult.
Yeah.
You know what I was thinking too as you were talking? It all boils down to choice.
True.
Mm-hmm.
Everything boils down to the choice you make.
Yeah.
And you make the choice to everything that you described, everything that you've been through and your experiences, and still but you made a choice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
To
You
do
got
what you need for you. Right.
Mm-hmm. Catherine says, leaving an abusive relationship with my 16-year-old son. I'm currently homeless. However, I start work soon and taxes will be here. So I'm full of fear. However, I'm looking for help and it's working though. Darlene says, I can identify with his story of homelessness, just starting over, learning simple daily life issues. Wow.
Mm.
Absolutely.
Mm. 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 And Catherine, we want to be that support. We want to be that support to where you can have a positive experience, because we're not aware of any of experience, but we want to be that support, and we want to help you advocate for you to have that positive experience. So,
absolutely, we're here to help any way we can. All right, Mr. Clarence, you have hope to give before we shut her down?
No, I just, like I said, it's up to you to make it happen for yourself. You're the only one that can do it. You're the only one that can go in and ask for the help. Don't nobody know you need help unless you tell them. And that's a big problem. A lot of people feel as though you can look at a person and see that, oh, that person needs help. You don't know what kind of help they need. You just see a little. But me, it took me to go out and get the help for Clarence. If I didn't go in, I wouldn't be sitting here right now.
Absolutely. That is the deal. We gotta step out, don't we? We got out into a whole new world. I love it. Well, that's what we want to offer. Information and stories, and that we can help people get more comfortable in their new place. Make it a home, like Clarence did. There's a difference between a house and a home. There are lots of people that got houses, but to make a home is safety, that connectedness. Like you were saying, the knowledge that I can trust some people today rather than being afraid of everybody. Good stuff. I love it.
That is. With this conversation today and in this experience, this story, you guys, whoever's watching, give us some feedback, give us some questions, or reach out to us if there's some things that you may think about, or you're wondering, or you may have some fears over as far as housing. Reach out to us, just don't be afraid to ask, because like Mr. Clarence mentioned, you won't know unless you ask.
Closed mouth doesn't get.
Exactly. So we also have, and if for more support, we have our guys, guys and everybody, that warm line is a free, confidential, 24/7 number you can call any time of the day, night, or week, any day. And that number is 833-390-7728. If you guys need that number, I see Miss Catherine. She says call. Definitely call Miss Catherine if you feel the need. If you feel the need to reach out, staff is there.
Yep.
So I really enjoyed this conversation today, Mr. Clarence. I really, really enjoyed hearing your lived experience and just hearing the things that I didn't even know about the different levels.
Yeah,
of homelessness. The wisdom, the purpose, the drive,
the courage,
the advocacy, the courage.
This is good stuff. I like it.
It is.
All right, well, we'll be back next Tuesday at 11:30. I want to thank Mr. Clarence for helping us out today. You did a fabulous job. You inspired me, and I really, really appreciate that. And I want to thank Cedric, too, for being my buddy on here.
Right.
Definitely give us information. You can call the warm line and give them suggestions, get a hold of us, or you can call our front desk. If you've got a question or something that you want to learn about in this class, call Kim at our front desk. Get us the message. The number is 704-390-7709. This is y'all's class. We want to do whatever it's to help. So, any last words?
No. Any last words?
Go.
All right. I'll take care.
All right. We'll see you later. See you next week. Keep peace, share love.